Good afternoon, everyone. Morning, whenever you happen to be listening to this. My name is Nick. I'm with my dad, as always, Mike, and this is Around the Dinner Table podcast.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good, good. All right. It's kind of an impromptu one for us. So we had some issues there with our last one. It just sucked. I hated it. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. So we're gonna give you a good one. We're gonna give you a fun one today. Our topic today is beer.
Yeah, can't go wrong with beer.
Yeah, love beer. Did you know beer was first invented, or the evidence of beer goes all the way back to 3,500 BC? It's been the perfect drink for thousands of years.
I'm not surprised.
Thousands upon
I
thousands
know
of
the
years.
Egyptians brewed beer or something. They're something similar to
Yeah,
beer.
um,
I do know that.
I can't remember what they called it, but it was similar. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
heavy, kept people slightly drunk to keep working on
On the pyramids.
on the pyramids, and
Yeah.
they didn't complain much because they're like, this is good stuff. But beer, I love beer. My story with beer started really when I was 23 and went to Ireland. I
Yeah.
did not like beer. It was here at the time. That was 2003. So at that time, you were only getting Budweiser. You were getting
No,
Coors.
no, I don't. No, that's not
Sam
true.
Adams was starting
It's
to
not
become
true
big.
because we had moved here from Washington in 1999, and there was plenty of breweries,
Was there?
independent breweries in Washington. Yeah.
Okay, it just wasn't here in
There's all kinds
Florida
of
yet.
them. Not Florida, no. We're like 20 years behind everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But yeah, we just had nothing here, so I just didn't drink beer at all. Then I went to Ireland and had a Guinness out of the tap for the first time in my life, and I was a changed man. For the first, I'd say 5 years of beer drinking, it was Guinness and Amberbach. I loved the dark, heavy.
yeah,
Actually,
Amberbox is good. I
Yeah,
haven't seen that much lately, though.
I'll see. I don't know if it's still around,
I don't know.
but man, it was one of my favorite beers for a long, long time. And then one day I was out shopping. I think I was in Publix, just going. I'm looking for something new and different. I'll try a new beer. I've been drinking the same two Guinness Amberbach for like 3 years at this point. So I thought, what's the Sierra Nevada thing? First time in my life I ever had an IPA, and I loved it.
That was one of the original, I believe it was the original microbrewery, Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, that is their hazy little thing is like my third favorite beer. I'd have to say, yeah, my favorite, because my favorite place to hang out in Arizona was Front Porch Brewing. Shout out, fantastic place.
That is a good place.
Trevor was awesome. He's a great owner, still owns it. Great guy. But he had Sneaky Little Hobbitses. That's his hazy IPA. Man, that thing about, I had a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that beer. It's so good. But yeah, Sierra Nevada really is what changed my beer drinking.
That's one of the original. I think the original microbrewery was Anchor Steam
Interesting.
from San Francisco, and they recently closed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, they.
That is way too
I
bad.
think it was Anchor. That was one of the original. Let me look it up here.
You're looking up, yeah, because while you're looking that up, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, as a kid, and even like you do the drinking parties and stuff like that. I never drank anything until I was really 23 is when I really discovered that I had a taste for beer, and it was mostly Irish beer. Smittix, love Smittix, another heavy, dark Irish beer. And then like I said, it came back to the States, and I was, in Florida, like, oh shit, all we got is Guinness and Amberbox. I'll drink that. And then Sierra Nevada came into the scene. And then Kona.
Yeah,
Remember the first time I had a Golden Wave, I think is what it's called? I was like, wow, okay, there's a good tasting, lighter beer option out there besides an IPA and a lager or a stout or a Bock. Those Bock beers are pretty heavy themselves. But I loved them. They're fantastic beers. And then before I left here, we started getting I first moved away from Florida. We started getting the local breweries here. That's when we got with Veterans.
Yeah,
Intuition.
there's a few around Jacksonville, but it's not like on the West Coast or
No, West Coast is so
other
different.
places. It's kind of it's getting there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more now than there ever was. But yeah, Anchor Brewing started their craft beer business in 1965.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that they were allowed. I thought there was like weird beer laws out there, like you couldn't brew. Excuse me, almost like drug laws, or marijuana laws. You can only have so much, or if you're gonna do your own brew, you can only brew it for yourself, or something like that.
Yeah, they got bought out by Sapporo,
Oh, really?
Japanese brewing
Not
company.
surprised. That's what happened to us with Four Peaks in Arizona. There's tons of them in Arizona. There's so many small breweries. You just didn't buy Budweiser in Arizona. You just didn't. I mean, why would you? When for the same price you can get Four Peaks, you could get, which is now owned by Budweiser, unfortunately. Or you could get, Front Porch, or you had you had a brewery. Almost every neighborhood in Arizona had its own brewery somewhere near it. You could get there. I think there was 3 breweries where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
You had Front Porch, Simple Machine, which was okay. And then there was another one. We went there, North Mountain.
North Mountain.
Yeah, North Mountain, which is very good. And they were all within 15, 20 minutes of each other. So,
yeah.
That's where I really found my taste for beer was that I liked beer here. I drank, a lot of veterans here. I went to Hot Banshee. I love Hot Banshee. It's good IPA. But I didn't I was like, it's beer, it's good, And then I got to Arizona, I was like, oh no, this is different. This beer is very good. And we're catching up. I think Florida has gotten better.
It's got a lot better. Yeah, 'cause I remember when we first moved here from Washington State, and there was a lot of microbreweries out there. And, you go to a restaurant or whatever, and say, what do you got on tap? Michelob, Bud Light, Coors Light.
It's like that restaurant down the road.
So you don't have any beer then.
Yeah.
You just have that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's still places like that here,
Yeah. The place we go to down the road the same way. That
place is
great.
It's supposed to be a sports bar, but it's got great food. But their beer selection is awful.
It's terrible. And in Mom's case, the wine selection isn't all that great.
Selection isn't any better. But brewing industry in America, interesting thing, in 1915, before Prohibition, there were 1,300 breweries. Mm-hmm. No more than 100 survived Prohibition.
Wow.
So it's taken that long, I think, for the brewing industry to catch back up in America. And I don't know how many breweries there are today.
I know Budweiser was buying up whoever is it, Anheuser-Busch? Is that who owns them still? I don't know how it all works, their structure anymore.
Yeah, today there's 9,709 breweries
in
the United States.
Just go to Total Wine and walk down their beer.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I love beer. And the funny thing is beer has become almost like wine in a way, where you have all these different variations. And well, I was reading Jam. She used to do the when we did the beer roulettes. She would read the tasting thing of it. She'd read its description of what food it was best with. Just like wine, it was like reading a wine thing.
Yeah.
None of them said earthy or tastes like wet rocks.
Rocks or anything.
None of them said that, but it was just funny. It's like beer is becoming this. It's no longer this Homer Simpson drink it until you belch. Drink anymore. It's just really not. That's what White Claw is. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, here's another funny statistic. California is the leading craft beer producer, but Vermont of all states, is a state with the most breweries per capita.
Really?
Yeah. In 2022, there were 15 breweries for every 1,000 residents, or for every 100,000 residents in Vermont. By contrast, California only had 3.3 for every 100,000.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and Maine too. Maine is huge.
It really?
Brewing. Oh, there's all kinds of craft beer in Maine.
I have to go up there and check that out.
Incredible. Yeah, and it's all pretty darn good too.
Well, we're getting a new one here, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I really am. Because where we are at, there isn't any. I have to go to Veterans, which is by my buddy's house. That's like 45 minutes away. Or when we go to a baseball game, we stop by Intuition, which is really good. Their Party Wave I like Party Wave a lot. That is very good.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll just sit around and go, man, I miss some of my Arizona ones. We had the Mother Road. Mother Road Brewing Company, that big blue can that I always would get was a.
There's a list of microbreweries in Maine.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
If for those who don't know, it is about 4 pages long.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's 1,916 brew pubs,
Wow.
3,000. I don't know. I think I'm reading the wrong stats here. No, I'm sorry. There's 43 brewing establishments.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more than that. I mean, look at them. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you got such, and you got those guys who are just tap rooms too.
Yeah. That includes those.
It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what Front Porch was. He was really just a tap room. You couldn't buy his beer in the store. You'd have to buy it there.
They have 90 breweries. I'm sorry.
90 breweries.
Yeah.
That's still a good amount.
Yep.
Especially when I was a kid.
And there's 1 million people in Maine.
Yeah.
A little, slightly over 1 million people. So that's quite a lot.
Especially compared to when I lived here, and you really had the choices of your big brands, your Bud Light, Miller Lite, Budweiser, the Budweiser brand, the Miller brand, Michelob. What else? That's about like the Coors, Kurz.
Florida has 250.
Now, do they? Okay.
Yeah, but
they're not quite.
They're not all that close to us, I don't think.
No, the closest one right now to us is one off of Highway 17 that I want to try.
Yeah.
But this is getting time to get out there, and traffic out there is pretty terrible, But it's a weird one too. It's in a house.
Well, there's a lot of those.
Yeah,
that are,
it's just
just converted buildings because the rents are high.
Yeah.
So that's why, like in Arizona, most of those breweries are like in warehouses.
Yeah.
Same thing in California. Yeah, a lot of the breweries are in warehouses. I used to work with some engineers out there, that aerospace engineers worked on the F-18 program that opened a brewery. And they opened it in an old warehouse. And they just roll up this big, huge doors, and there it was. This brewery, and it's kind of cool. They were doing quite well too. I don't know.
Veterans is in the warehouse district too. If you go to where J-Tech is, you see it from the highway. J-Tech, it's off the south side, but you just follow that road down, and you go to the end. You go to when the road ends. And then you see the big sign, Veterans Brewery, over here. It's just a big warehouse district and office. It's almost like an office building. Yeah. Because next door to it, you have a real estate place. It's really funny. It's like, all right, so you celebrate your real estate deals next door. You got that going for you. Maybe you get a discount. But it changed for me big time going to the West Coast is different than even the beers are different too. Like there's much more hazy IPAs and stuff like that in the West Coast. And it was funny that all of the IPAs, like the regular IPAs, were just called East Coast or Northeast style IPAs, which would be more like Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts and stuff. And they were excellent. But you primarily only drink hazies now, too, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I like lagers, too, though.
Yeah,
but they're hard to find. For some reason, brewers, they're harder to brew, I guess, and they don't like to spend the money or whatever. I don't know.
I like, ones I liked a lot were Mexican lagers. I could drink those all day. They're like that beer if you're out at a picnic. They're light enough for me. You can just drink those all day. You don't even really get buzzed or anything from them because they're so low in alcohol. They really don't have that much alcohol in them. Yeah. I think they're like 4% or 5%. And you just enjoy them. They're just a good beer. Pacifico is, probably my favorite of those. Dos Equis is good. Not Tecate. Don't drink Tecate. Or Corona. Corona's just like the cheap man. That's like the cheapest, crappiest beer. Yeah. I never really liked it much. Kind of flavorless.
The craft beer business is a big business, but I got to think it's hard to make money.
Yeah.
Back when we were in Washington, I was still in the Navy. I was approached to invest in a brewery. It was going to be called Aviator Brewing Company, and they were looking for, like 100 people or whatever to invest $500 each to get this thing up and running. And I declined, and it's a good thing I did because it never got off the ground. but You know, they had the logos, they had the merchandise, they had everything. I don't know if they had a brewmaster or not, or somebody to brew it, but it just never got going. I don't know if they couldn't find the people, or I thought $500 is not that big a risk, but then again, you know, do I really want to spend $500 for something that may not happen? And it never happened that I know of. You know that
I know Trevor, we all talked about it, and he explained how he got his equipment. He got everything secondhand from from brewers that closed in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So he would get his vats,
mm-hmm.
you know, his canning machine he got there, his taps he got from somebody, you know, and he built this whole little, you know, his little tap house around that. But in the back, he's brewing beer, and he only has, I think at that time, he only had like 4 or 5 vats, you know, where he's doing everything. That guy would get up at 3:30 in the morning, work on brewing things till about almost like 10, 11, go home, take a nap, come back, open up the tap room about 3,
mm-hmm.
and then go to about 7 almost every day. I mean, it's
a tough business.
He loved it. You could tell he loved it, but there's days he looks so tired.
Yeah.
He stopped working Saturdays and Sundays when I was there. He got to where his mom and dad would come, and they were retired. And they're like, we'll just do it just for fun. You don't have to pay us. They just showed up and ran his bar for a weekend, just give him a couple days off. But yeah, it's
definitely a changed business from even when I was much younger, you know, in my 20s or old enough to drink, you know. It was the big breweries, and that was it. You had some regional ones like Narragansett in New England, and you know, gosh, I can't think of any off the top of my head. There were some in Maryland, like Yingling. That was, and really still is, a regional thing. It's East Coast, Southeast. You know, you can't buy Yingling on the West Coast. You know, and it's a regional beer, but they were all just Budweiser, Coors. You know, I remember when Coors became the thing. Everybody had to go get Coors, and it was
the banquet beer.
Yeah, I think I was in the Navy, and it's like, where can we get some Coors? You know, and it was only like in Colorado, in that area. You know, and everybody just thought that was the greatest thing in the world, which it really kind of isn't.
No, I will say Coors Light. To me, most light beer to me tastes like nothing. It's very watery, not really my thing, you know. And it's fine. If you like it, you like it. Michelob Ultra.
That's really popular around here.
It tastes like nothing.
Man, that stuff is.
It absolutely tastes like nothing.
They sell
to
that
me.
stuff by truckloads around here, and I think I might have tried it once.
I've tried it many times. It just tastes like nothing, you know. And I just not at all. I've never liked it. Coors Light. Jam's dad is a big Coors Light guy. He loves his Coors Light. We always joke. We always laugh when he call Coors
Light.
And get some Coors Light, you know. And he buys the silver bullet cans, you know, the bigger, taller cans. You get the twist off tops on them and stuff like that. And you know, on a hot day, it's fine. It's not. I'm not ever going to say it's the best beer. It's not the worst either, though. I think for American beers, I don't touch Michelob Ultra. That to me is about probably our worst beer, I think. In my opinion. I've had some bad. Well, we had one when we used to do these roulettes. It was just called America. It was supposed to be like an American lager. So it was like Sam Adams if Sam Adams was awful. It was pretty bad. I think I actually would have rather had the Michelob. At least it didn't have any flavor. It was just called America. I'm like, this is terrible beer. It was brewed in Chicago or something. It was pretty awful. But we used to go down, because we had a Total Wine down the street from us. We used to just walk down the beer aisle and pick, that can's cool looking.
Yeah.
And you would get some great beers, or you always remembered the bad ones. Because you'd get those bad ones, and you would just you're like, okay, I'm going to remember that can.
The history of beer in America, you know, like I said, Prohibition really screwed up
the perfect drink.
It was devastating. And, you know, they were still probably brewing beer. But
oh, yeah, absolutely. Yingling's been around. They're the oldest brewery in America, right?
They say they are.
Yeah,
You know, that's one of those things. You know, I mean,
so.
yeah, I don't know. I guess they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, they say they are. It's just like saying you're the best.
yeah,
You know, so until somebody
true.
proves otherwise. You know,
Oldest beer company.
and I think there's probably kind of a beer glut too, and you know they thin out. You know, you get a whole bunch of breweries open, and then some of them will close. Like there's been 3 or 4 around here that have closed recently because it just didn't work out. Didn't make it go.
Yeah,
you know,
they
didn't
just
go.
didn't get those people. You know,
Yeah,
that happens. That's with any business. You know, you build it up and build it up, and then someone moves in and they're just catching you. You're done.
yeah,
You know, they got the it thing, and a lot of these like. I always loved what Trevor did because he kind of did it right. He had fun with his beer names, right? He didn't just call it
yeah,
IPA,
yeah.
you know, or lager. He had, he had Nelson, which was making fun of the Wilson thing, an exclamation point from. They're all movie names,
Mm-hmm.
you know. He had Sneaky Little Hobbitses, it's another one. He had great names for his beer, and it was catchy.
Well, that's part of it. You know, you see all these
Yeah.
catchy little names, and that's kind of part of the thing. You got to stand out somehow.
And his
because-
logos were great too. They're all
Yeah.
hand drawn logos and stickers on his cans. And he did a good job at just kind of sticking out. And his beer was good. His product was good because
Yeah.
you get some of these. There's one here that I have not had a beer from them that I've liked at all, and that's the big one in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
I have tried 3 or 4 of their beers, and I just do not like them. I don't understand how they're still open. Tastes like dirty water
Yeah, well, they probably get it out of the Matanzas River
or something. Yeah, suck it up from the ocean and filter it. It does. It tastes like dirty water to me, and I've tried so hard to get it here, and I'll try it. Can I get something else? It's like the first time I had a Stella. I'm going to give this to
me
someone
too.
else.
I didn't
Yeah,
care for that
I
at all.
can't do. Now, one thing I did see that saddened me a little bit with France is their beer culture was very, at least when we were there wasn't a whole lot of it.
Well, the last time I was there, we went to a brewery in Paris. Big place. I showed you pictures of it.
Yeah.
Huge place, and it was good. The beer was good. The atmosphere was good, and it's changing. I think. I
Yeah.
think they're getting on board with it. But French beer isn't very good. I don't care for it.
Yeah, Matthew likes that as an 1864 or 1664, whatever it is.
Yeah,
And it's fine.
it's okay.
It's okay. I wouldn't, if you gave it to me, I would be like, I'd be okay, it's fine. But we had one there. I had an IPA there, and it was just gross. And then we had that Christmas beer that tried to taste like Christmas, I guess. And it was just awful. I couldn't even finish it. I just gave it to Matt. He's like, "This is good. You're crazy." I'm like, I'm absolutely not. This is awful beer.
Yeah, it's brewed 1664 is actually Kronenbourg.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's brewed in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. DG Yingling and Sons is the oldest. They are officially the oldest beer.
Mm-hmm.
Google has said so, and Google's always right.
Okay.
1829.
Yeah. You can get 1664 at Total Wine.
Yes, you can. Another one.
I like it better on draft though. When
you?
you go to France, you get it on draft.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Yeah, there's this little bar brasserie or whatever that Matthew likes, and they have it on tap, and it's better.
Is it?
Yeah, it's better than in the can or the bottle for that much.
Well, that's how I am with Intuition. I love Intuition. When we go there, I love getting like a party wave there, or they have I-10 because I-10 runs through Jacksonville, and that is excellent there. But for some reason, when they can them and I get them home in the can, I don't like them as much. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, if I'm pouring it wrong or what. But
it used to be my favorite beer around
Yeah.
here, but now I don't care for it anymore.
yeah, but there it's good. I like it there. I can drink it there without a problem. Probably too well, but I can drink it there. You ever had one sneak up on you? Like you bought a beer, it was really good, but then all of a sudden you got about halfway through that second one, you're like, think I'm drunk. I did. I think it was called Space Dust.
Oh, that's real strong.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't see it on the package, so I thought I'll get something different because I was usually buying. I'd usually stop by Trevor, but I just didn't have time to stop by his place and get beer. So I went to the Fry's. I said, "This looks interesting." So I grabbed it, went home, and I started making dinner. Well, and I was doing my classes at night over the internet then. So I'm making dinner. So I pour a little beer, try one of these. Drank one. I said, "Oh, that was pretty good." Ate dinner. Drank another. Halfway through the second one, I'm like, I'm drunk. And I got to do class in 20 minutes. Oh, no. That thing, and I'm like, what is in, like, how much? Because I can drink and not get too drunk. This thing was powerful. It was 9.6%.
Oh, yeah, that stuff is really
insanely
really
strong.
Yeah.
Very good. I do highly recommend. Is it Islam? Something like that.
I can't remember.
I can never remember, but Space Dust is the name of it. Man, it is fantastic beer, but be careful.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I am so drunk right now. I don't know what to do.
How about the breweries on the cruise ships?
Oh, those were good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we had a blast. We did a cruise we went on a couple of years ago at Christmas, the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And that ship was a brand new ship. I think we were on the second cruise.
I think so.
Official cruise of that ship. And they had a brewery on board.
It wasn't.
And they gave us a tour. Well, they did tours.
Yeah.
I still have the glass.
Yeah.
They gave us a souvenir glass.
Is it Pig and Anchor or something like that?
Yeah, Pig and
Anchor. Yeah, those actually really good. Their brewmaster was there too. And
he was a good dude.
Super passionate dude about his beer.
We drank a lot of beer that day, but that tour, I remember. Yeah. But it was
kind of the same thing. And then he brought us a picture of like the one we all liked, afterward. We're like, oh no.
He talked about the difficulties of brewing beer at sea. Mm-hmm. Because the ship moves, you get a lot of foam and all things like that, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And how they do it out there. And you got to ship in all your supplies. You can't just run out and get some hops.
No.
You got to have it there because,
And they brew it there.
Yeah, it's brewed on the ship.
On the ship, distributed on the ship, everywhere you go.
You can go to
it's kind of amazing.
Little bar there, and you're sitting at the brewery. Yeah. It's right there behind glass. It's right. That's all right there. It's really cool.
Yeah, he was there training that ship's beer brewmaster.
Yeah,
and he was really a passionate guy. And he was just a guy who just started doing it.
And your mom and I went on a cruise here in January, and that ship had a brewery, too. Yeah. I didn't do the tour because it was just me. I didn't want
That's a lot for just one.
Yeah.
It was a lot for just the three of us. I mean.
But it was fun. And it's interesting how they do that at sea.
It is.
And it's really, and the beer is really good.
And I really think it is one of those weirdly important drinks that somehow gets lumped into stupid. I've always laughed like the idea of the beer drinker is Homer Simpson, right? You ask most people what a beer drinker looks like. Oh, Homer Simpson. And it's like, no, everybody drink. Most of these brewers are just a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
A bunch of nice people, a bunch of hippies.
My last company that I worked for, we were trying real hard to set up maintenance programs at breweries. Our marketing guy I think he's using an excuse to go visit breweries, but he would go to these breweries and say, "Hey, we can help you maintain your equipment." But a lot of these guys don't have a lot of money, so they didn't want to spend the money. They said, "Well, my ship breaks, I'll just fix it," and what our business was trying to prevent you from having to shut it down because it was broken. That was kind of. We can maintain this while still operating it instead of waiting until it breaks and then you got to fix it. But they didn't really have a lot of money to put into that. But he got a couple of breweries that he was working with. I don't know what the status is now. I've been retired for quite a while now, so I lost touch with all that. But he had a couple of breweries, one in Tampa. Can't remember the name of it. And I think there was a local one here that he was... Storm.
Yeah, they're really good, actually. Yeah. I get them every now and again here. Winn-Dixie's sell them here.
Yeah, and I think he had another one locally that signed on, and you go in there and, set up maintenance plan for their equipment, so you didn't have to completely shut down your brewing operation if something broke or something you had to do any kind of maintenance. You know,
kind of
and
schedule out everything
yeah,
to keep things
yeah, and
running. It's a good idea.
but a lot of these guys didn't have a lot of money, so they're like, yeah, well, it's a good idea, but no thanks, you know. And dealing with them was like dealing with old hippies, you know. They're just like, yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah,
You know,
we're good.
we're good. We'll figure it out.
I'll never forget. I can't remember which brewery it was, and I feel really bad about that. But we walked in. We were going to video it because we were doing brewery tours on the channel. Then I'd love to do them again, but they are a lot of work. But we were all ready. Like, okay, this guy's going to lead us around. He goes, "Here's the key. Have fun. I got things to do. See my manager over there when you guys are ready to do your tasting." Like, so we can just walk around and video it. He goes, "Yeah, I got nothing to hide. I don't give a care. I don't give a damn." So like, all right. He goes, "Good luck, guys," and just left. And left us in charge of his brewery for, however long we were there. He came back right before we were leaving, came by and talked to us for a minute, and then left. He was a really nice guy, really cool dude. And he had he was the only one in that area that did a Pilsner.
Yeah.
And that's a beer that is, I think, sadly overlooked. I love a good Pilsner every now and again. Veterans does one here. Is it John Boat? Is that Veterans?
I don't know.
I think
excuse me.
It might be wrong. If I am, I'm sorry. It's either Intuition or them. And then you were been drinking one from Fernandina.
Yes. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Good. Yeah. That was a really good beer.
They do Cosmico, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Another very good hazy. But I'm glad to see Florida is starting to get into it. And I'm glad to see the world's doing a little bit better with beer, because you're starting to see the idea of the beer drinker change. You're not seeing them as these Homer Simpsons anymore. I mean, there's still some. I'm not saying there isn't. They all drink White Claw now. One of my favorite things I've ever seen in my life was that guy who used to run the Proud Boys. He's holding his AR-15 and his ballistic vest, and he has a White Claw in his pocket. I'm like, okay, fine. So he has poor taste in drink. But
yeah, we used to do this. We call it Hoptium. It was. I just looked it up here. Brewing industry maintenance management solution designed to optimize the performance of high value equipment. And we had a couple of breweries online, but they don't list them here. But if you're a brewer and you need some maintenance, let me know in the comments and I'll hook you up. I know all the people that can help you out. Big Storm.
Yeah, Big Storm. Okay, yeah.
Big Storm.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them a lot. They're very good.
Yeah, that's the only one they have listed, so I guess they're still working with them.
Well, the interesting thing, the overall beer market is $116.9 billion last year. And craft brewing, $28.9 billion.
Jeez.
Yeah. They make up 13% of the share of beer sales. And the higher one would be imports, and of course our big domestics make up they're still the big share, but they've taken a big hit, and because of the craft brewing. That's why they're buying a lot of them up. But beer sales are actually down overall. Yeah. Because of Americans are going. I saw it today when we were at the store. The guy had that stupid hard iced tea in his thing. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, to each his own. Different folks, different strokes, I know. But it's like, come on, man. But, and you see a lot, and you see people, they're buying more, the bigger one, the one that had the fastest rise a couple of years ago was like the seltzers. You're seeing that as the big, and it's more of a party drink, I think. Where beers, I think, is starting to fall into like the wine category. Yeah. Where wine for some people is so complicated they don't know if they're drinking it right, so they just don't bother. I think beer is kind of getting to that point. Especially when you, like I said, you go through Total Wine and you read this whole description of the beer, and you're like, this is like a wine reading. It is. And it's become that. And it's kind of funny, so it's kind of weird to see, like lobster was a poor man's food for so long, and it became this thing. Beer is starting to go into that direction where it was a poor man's drink for so long, and now it's this yuppie thing. It's become a sign of yuppie. If you drink, oh, you drink an IPA, you must be a yuppie. Or I don't know. Beer is just the greatest drink. It's been around. We had American Revolution was planned in a bar.
Oh yeah.
Over a lot of beer. It's named after him for a reason. He owned the bar. A lot of that was.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. No, he was just a brewer, right?
Well, he wasn't even very good at that.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yeah,
he was good at selling himself. So
yeah. He was a brewer, but yeah, he wasn't all that successful at much of anything, really.
But even though
he's one of our founding fathers,
he is. Yeah. But beer is so important to that, and then. They said beer culture in this country took a dip and then it's coming back. In Germany, it's always been strong.
It took a dip because of Prohibition.
Yeah, Prohibition screwed up a lot of things. And it ended up killing people more than it ended up helping.
Oh, sure.
Because now it became illegal, so now you got the mob involved. And then you had this toxic booze because they're cutting it with some of the worst, bathtub gin was some of the most dangerous stuff you could ever put in your body.
Yeah.
When they should have just allowed people to drink, anyways. Is there always going to be people abusing it? Yeah. We got to deal with them. Don't abuse it. Enjoy it. I like to enjoy it. I think beer is just a great drink to enjoy.
Yeah.
But that's my feelings on it. I've always been a huge beer fan. And
we'll check out that new brewery when it opens up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll give you full report.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Open June 1st.
I look forward to it. I'm glad to see it's coming here. I'm glad to see we're starting to get into it on the East Coast. At least the Southeast.
Southeast, yeah. The Northeast, I think, and a lot of the East Coast has been there. But, man, like I said, when we moved here, I was like, what the hell? There's
nothing.
No good beer here. This is all just Budweiser. Of course, there's a Budweiser brewery here in Jacksonville, so that, I get that. But, I mean, where's all the microbrews? And they just kind of look at you funny, like, what are you talking about? There's none of that here.
That was one of the things in Arizona is there were so many microbrews that you would just say, you would get two beer lists. You would get the national brands, right? And then they would here's our locals.
Here's our locals.
I'm like, you could just take the national one away. I'll keep the local.
It was always good when you went to a restaurant or a bar or something and said, oh, we have Sam Adams. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Oh,
jeez. That's...
It was always the seasonal one. It was never just Boston Lager. It was always one of his
good.
Winter Lager.
At least you have that,
And Sam Adams is good. We had that cherry wheat last night. I never liked that one. They must have changed.
I never liked it either. Yeah.
But last night that was good.
Yeah,
that was a good one. They must have changed something in it. And I've Old Fezziwig is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
beer.
that Christmas beer. Yeah,
I wish they sold that in 6-packs.
You can get it in the Northeast in 6-packs, but down here you can't. You got to buy those mixed packs that. A whole case of beer to get 4, so I never buy it anymore. I don't drink that much beer anymore.
And then they had their chocolate bock, which was really good. Only one of those is good. I can only ever drink one of those. They're a little heavy. And then we have, out in the West Coast, you get a lot of milk stouts.
Yeah, and those I don't like stouts. No.
Those are pretty good.
Never did.
John here, my buddy John, he drinks the coffee stout, Cup of Joe. He loves Cup of Joe. He drinks that all the time over at Veterans. They were out of it the other day.
Oh, no.
He was a little sad. So I don't know if it's something they're getting rid of.
Yeah.
Because every time he goes there, he buys a case of it, and he'll drink on that stuff all, for about a month. He loves it. But it's good to see it happening here. I'm glad it's happening here. I hope more Americans try beer. So I think there's really a beer for everyone. There's sours. There's so many different kinds. Sours. I'm not a sour guy, but a lot of people are. Most people who are sour guys are not IPA guys. You got lagers. You got stouts. You got Bock. You had, in Germany, you had the Hells, which I think are like a Pilsner. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I love them.
I wouldn't want to say and be wrong.
Yeah. Someone will be. Because beer is like wine. Someone will let me...
the Cup of Joe is seasonal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's an oatmeal espresso stout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's seasonal. I don't know what that means. What season? I have no idea. Winter?
Maybe.
Probably kind of a heavy...
Okay, it is a German pale lager, is what Hell's is. So I guess it's a little bit hoppier than your normal one. than your normal, like a Pilsner.
Yeah, they have a porter too
Mm.
over there at Veterans United.
Yeah, they got a lot of.
Paratrooper. Of course, this is a brewery that's owned and operated by veterans, so they got all the military.
Yeah, they stick
thing.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hippie too, though. I've met him several times. Yeah, there's a bunch of hippies working there. It's funny.
This is a good one too. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's Fish Camp Pills.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, it was Veterans. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. That's an excellent beer.
German style Pilsner. It's very good.
And I tell anybody, if you're, I don't know why you would ever come to the Jacksonville area to vacation
On
or
purpose.
anything,
But if you're coming to visit family,
if you come to visit family, you have Intuition Ale Works. You have Veterans. What's the other one? Ardwolf.
Ardwolf. There's several. There's a lot of breweries.
And they're growing more and more. And there's some here in Clay County. There's one on the 17 in Clay County. I want to go. I want to try. And then we got the new one coming up June 1st. So it's a growing thing. That one, there was another one.
There's Wicked Barley.
Yeah, Wicked Barley. Yeah, they're excellent too.
Hyperion, Bold City, Fishwire.
Don't think I've had
Intuition, Kingmaker Brewing, Ruby Beach Brewing, Bold City, Downtown. Well, that's Bold City. There's two different breweries.
Yeah, Bold City is pretty good.
Strings Sports Brewery. Never heard of that one.
I don't know that
Historically Hoppy Brewing Company. Grace Note Brewing, Veterans United, Bottlenose, Southern Swells, Engine 15,
I've had Southern Swell. That's
Green
karate in
Room,
the garage.
and Ink Factory.
Yeah, Southern Swells is karate in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're excellent. It's growing. So you got places. If you like beer and you come here, you're not in a beer desert. It might be a little bit of a food desert, but that's getting better, I think. I'd like to think it is. I don't really know. But you can at least get yourself some good beer around the city.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you're in downtown, you hit Intuition, and I know there's a Bold City near there too. Those are also, I always forget about Bold City. I don't know why. Because I like that Manatee IPA. And
Yeah, the one you're talking about is Cultured Collective Brewing in Orange Park.
Yeah, I want to try them. They got some interesting looking names. They've been around. Looks like they've been around a little bit.
They've been around for a while.
Yeah. I'll have to try them out one day to sneak out there.
They don't do food.
No, most of them don't anymore. Oh, they do food trucks. Well, I don't know if they even do food trucks. That's a small parking lot.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
food trucks. Yeah.
Okay. And then there must be more around back or something.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a grandma's house. You know, like you see those in those movies. They're like, this is my grandma's house. You know, it's just basic Southern style home. And then
They had a website, but I don't see it here now. They probably just use Facebook like a lot of these.
yeah,
They don't want to pay for the web services.
especially now Google got rid of all of that, which kind of makes me mad.
Yeah, Cultured Collective Brewing Company. Yeah, they have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's our thoughts on beer. I love beer.
Me too.
I think it's the perfect drink. I think there's beer for everybody. Just don't lump it all into one. Now, don't ever give your mother an IPA on her first beer. That was hilarious. She drank it before I could warn her. So she didn't find that funny at all. I think those immediate revolt face as soon as that thing hit her lips. Like, good God, what are you drinking? You know? Something I'll always remember. It was quite funny. But yeah, try it. Go out there. Give it a shot. Just don't, I don't like beer. There's so many different kinds of beers. Try something. If you like beers that are fruit, if you like fruity drinks, try a sour. You know, don't do the IPA right away if you've never had a beer, because that'll surprise you, because you'll be like, what the hell is wrong with Nick? You know? But lagers are so good, and there's so many variations of just lagers. I mean, it's like subcategories of beers. It has really become like wine now, where there's a wine for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's a beer for everybody, and I highly recommend everybody try a beer and get rid of seltzers, because 2016 is when seltzers became big. That's when America started to fade.
Yeah, really.
It's about 2015, 2016 when they became
I always figure we got Donald Trump and seltzers at the the time, so that's when America went to shit.
Yeah. Matthew likes to say it was when they killed Harambe, but the big domino was seltzers.
Seltzers.
So, White Claw is bad. I've never had one, but I just refuse. There's something about it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. It's just like Zima to me. It's just Zima. It's the new Zima.
Yeah, that stuff is bad too, Zima. Ugh.
Yeah. Mom liked it.
Yeah.
I think she was good for one, though.
Yeah, the second one doesn't taste good.
Yeah. It's like Mike's Hard Lemonade. I was good for one.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, I don't like this anymore. And so we go through these fads.
Yeah.
So right now, beer will be back. And beer's that main. It's been around since 3000 BC. I mean, it's going to be.
It's not going anywhere.
And it is the best of all drinks, I think, of alcoholic drinks. It doesn't make me feel crappy like liquor can do. Make me sick. It's good. That's all I got today.
Yeah, me too.
Stay tuned for more weird topics or just obscure things that we'll end up shooting out. Good time talking with you as always. It's just all it is.
Yeah, I think there's a Frank Zappa quote about beer.
Is there? Oh, shit. Yeah, go back to the Zappa.
We'll close with a Zappa quote. It's going to take me a minute to find it. I'm not up to speed here today.
Oh, that's okay. We weren't really exactly prepared to do it today. It was
something about if you have a country, you gotta. If you want to get laid, go to college. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. I can't find it, so maybe we'll just close.
All right, here's the number one best beer quote. It doesn't say who said it. Beer's the answer, but I can't remember the question.
Okay, here it is. I found it. You can't be a real country unless you have a beer and an airline. It helps if you have some kind of football team or some nuclear weapons, but at the very least, you need a beer. So there you go, Frank.
He's 100% correct. On that note, everyone have a wonderful time and a wonderful week. We're still working. We're still persistent, and we'll keep on doing what we do just because I enjoy doing it. If you don't, I'm sorry. Dad seems to enjoy it, so
like
all good.
It's fun.
So,
that's why we do it.
Exactly. Fun. It's just fun for us. Good night, and I will talk to you next time.
Yep. Take care.
Right. Bye-bye.